we're just gonna grab some grizzly hackle. It's more like the side of a saddle. And a spade hackle. This one I've already been using up, so we're gonna finish that. And I'm just gonna pull the hackle sideways here a bit so we can get all the tips lined up. I want roughly about the size of the gap for the amount of hackle that we're going to be grabbing. And we're just going to pack that together like you'd pack a snowball. And we're just going to cut off the fluffy rachis ends. That'll allow us to get a little more even pack on it. This will give you a nice straight tail, hopefully with less barbs that are flying left and right. We're just going to measure that, the working length of the body. It's just going to be a hair shorter than the shank. I'll lock in with 2 wraps, and I'll go with 3 wraps back to hold it on the top. We're going to be putting 1 wrap underneath here. See the tail flip up. And under tension, 2 wraps, about 2 or 3 red thread wraps back. That'll lock it in so that it's nice and straight. There we are. I'm just going to bury those ends. They're going to behave for us. We'll get them right in. Beauty. Okay. We'll move up to our tie-in point for the wing. Now for the wing, we're going to be using this gray mallard flank. It's almost pretty darn close to a bronze mallard flank, but I'm looking more for this gray modeling on the side here. Get rid of the wispy bit, not using that. And we'll get rid of it on both sides here. Might use some of the other side. It's a bit lighter color, but it'll work. There we are. There's a little bit of damage up top here that I won't be using. Now we're going to want to pull our wing roughly about the size of the shank or the gap on the hook. So that should be right about there. Beauty. Look at that. Yeah, that's good. Like that. Same thing. We're going to hold it with our thumb, pin it down, pull it back. This will help us get the tips to the right length. You need to do it just a little more. Top is a little longer than the bottom. Next one will be a little evener. There we go. Once you get it lined up, just pop it off. And we're going to cut the wispy rachis ends off. This will just allow us to position it and pack it a little easier. I like to fold it basically in half. So you're going to take your fingers, touch them both the top and the bottom, and then just pull towards you as you bring it down. That way you end up with kind of a top and a bottom. Makes packing it a little bit easier. Little less fighting. Now we're shooting for basically twice our tie-in point. And our tie-in point is going to be right where the thread is here, to the end of the hook eye. That's roughly the size of my bobbin end. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. So that'll be a good length right there. So we're just going to tie it in with a soft wrap. Come on. So I'm just going to spin my bobbin off. Now, I'm just going to tie it in with a soft wrap. Just 2 wraps, and 3 wraps behind it to lock it in. Yeah, she looks good. That's perfectly fine. I'm happy with that. 2 more tighter wraps to hold it in. This mallet's a little softer on being on the bottom of the And next we're going to get this lovely golden acrylic yarn. It's got such a nice glow to it, eh? Just like fire. It's like a pumpkin. Just love this stuff. It's old, from West Germany, so definitely older than I am. That's going to be our rib. We're going to tie that in just after. Come on now. Tie that in just after we tied in the wing. That'll help even that spot of the body out a little bit. You want to have it about 2 or 3 thread wraps from the back of the tail. Yeah, that should be good. And back up to our tying point. This time we're going to tie in the body material. It's going to be this lovely kind of almost like sweet potato color poly yarn. A little yellower, I suppose. And this is an older poly yarn too. It's a sparkle yarn. Most of those date back to the 70s. They do not produce them anymore. Okay, actually I'm going to tie this up along the top instead of the side. end it just like one thread wrap before where we finished off the rib. Okay. Now we're going to stand up that wing by holding it back. And we're putting a little bit of a thread dam behind it. To hold it upright, and then a little thread base all the way up to our where we're going to create the head. A couple half hitches to hold it in place. There it be. Yeah, that's beauty. Look at that. I like that little smack right on top there. Little punk rocker hairdo. That's just perfect size. That'll work out well. Okay, so we got our couple half hitches in there. We're going to rest our bobbin in the bobbin rest. And the half hitches will hold the line on the hook while we're using the rotary. So for the first part of the rotary, I'm going to be going underneath the hook here. I'm going to be putting fair tension on this yarn, but letting it ball up underneath. Then for the top first wrap here, I'm going to lower the tension, but I'm also going to use my fingernail to allow it to splay out so it's thinner. Just for that first wrap, so one, it doesn't interfere with the tail it's trying to do. Just gonna kick it over here. There we go. And that also helps to reduce the tail bump that you get from tying in your tail material all in the same spot. Come on, wing, behave yourself. Okay, get our bobbin back. Now, because we put the half hitches in, we don't have a bunch of extra line coiled up on there. And we're good to start. Get our thread right up to the wing, bring it behind. There we go. We just want to do a couple wraps behind. That'll give us a nice base when we start tying in the hackle. Gonna go around our body material, back in 2 wraps to lock it in. We're gonna do that twice. Again, that'll help to create a base there for the first couple hackle wraps, so it's nice and smooth and not jumping left or right as much. There we go. Cut the bottom material off clean. And just 2 more wraps. Sorry, we'll do 3. 3 more wraps there, and extending the bobbin a little bit because it's going to wind up as we're putting on the rib. I'll bring the rib under. Let's see. I'll go under. Bring the rib under and over the top. Couple more wraps there Probably should have went with 5 wraps to start with, because they'll unwrap as a twist. And we'll bring the rib material all the way back up, cross our thread, tie it in the back. Again, cross our thread, last time, 2 wraps secure it. And we got a nice base there for hackle tie-in. Cut our rib. Straighten our wing. We can bring our thread forward, and we'll just do 1 or 2 half hitches at the start here, just as a save point. And also tie in our, so we got tension to tie in our hackle. And for hackle, we're just going to be using a grizzly saddle hackle to go with the theme of the fly. This is a vintage, not quite as vintage as the other ones, but about 60s grizzly saddle. It's a nice big wide one. It's got a lot of perfect sizes for this, so there we are. There, these ones are kinked. They got a lot of kicks and wiggles to them, so it's going to take a little bit of persuasion to get it to go in there correctly. We're going to take just a little bit off of the top side of our hackle, so those first half wrap or so is going to lay flat without a lot of hackle kicking out. Just make the job a little easier. I'm going to leave a little bit of rachis. I'm going to take a few more off the bottom here. I'll leave a little bit of rachis sticking out there for tie-in point. Going to try and get 2 to 3 wraps on the front side. Oh, didn't catch it there. One sec. Let's get some twist out. There would be 1, 2. Third one, we're going to try and get right up to the wing, underneath the wing and then over. And we want at least 3 in the back, with the last one ending right where we want our tie-in point to be, or the farthest point back on the hackle. We're going to walk it back up, and we're going to set it off with a half hitch right at that point that we're going to finish the hackle off at. Sorry, put my half hitch tool down. I didn't see it, it was right in front of me. So we don't want it to be right at the head, but just a hair back. So we got room to tie off the head. So one fiber right there I'm going to get rid of. That's probably going to cause us some problems. But all the other ones are behaving, so that's a pretty good number. There it be. Hey Veronica. Sorry Veronica. Victoria. My bad. Sorry, my chat monitor is quite a ways away from me, up on a different angle. It's hard to read it. I do need to work on fixing that problem so I can read chat better. But it's working for now, so we'll go with it. Yeah, happy to have you back. Doing the same fly as yesterday. I got about 5 more of these to do. Or how many more? Maybe 8. Looks like. A little more than 5. Then we'll have a full set. We're going to try and get 2 to 3 wraps on the back here without disturbing the wing. There we go. See how the wing kicked out there? That's what I'm trying to avoid by putting pressure on that. There we go. Okay, that'll work. Okay, I'm just gonna place the wing back, get all the fibers, and the first wrap's gonna go right against the wing. That'll help stand it up, make it a little bit more durable at the same time. Trap a couple there, yeah. Let's do that one again. There we go. Okay, so that's 1 wrap. This will be 2. Go for 3 to 4 in the front. 3. Let's see if we can get a 4th in here. Yeah, there we go. Alright, bring that up. Bring the thread that we've had tied off. Just kind of work it through the hackle there, but we're trying to catch the base of the rachis from the where it's tied off. And now that we got it, you can see there's 0 tension on that now. So it's not going anywhere as long as I don't let go of the tension on the bottom. And we're just going to pull. Some of these are being a little adventurous, so we're just going to pull them back a sec. Come on now. Might have to get rid of you if you're going to be that way. And just 2 wraps to lock it in there. Come on. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to throw a quick half hitch on that too. It'll help push some of those back just enough. There we go. Also a nice save point. We can cut off our hackle tip, waist piece. It's 4 o'clock. Well, that's perfectly fine. I don't expect much anything from my mods. I rarely need them, although I do appreciate all the effort they put in. By not needing them, I mean I don't get a lot of trolls and troublemakers in here, typically. But I do appreciate all the effort they put in. But yeah, if life comes, life is always more important. That being said, I do appreciate you. But yeah, never feel obligated if you got other obligations. I'll always be here next day. Oh, about the rod you were mentioning, I think any youth rod is going to be fairly comparable across all the brands. Like, that's their entry level offering, right? So you're not going to get the most flexible, it's going to be stiffer, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because when you're learning, you're going to overweight the rod, you're going to throw it harder than you need to because you're used to a spinning rod. You know, you're going to step on it, it's going to get tossed in your vehicle. You know, you're going to drop it on the dock and back into it. You know, maybe it'll even come disconnected on you while you're casting. So there's going to be mistakes, it's all part of learning, and that's why they make the junior models the way they do. Not just for cost effectiveness, but there's also a lot of other good reasons, like the ones mentioned. So I would highly suggest getting a junior one, especially if you're smaller, because it's going to be hard to learn to throw a lot of line when you're shorter to the ground. As I am. I'm only 5'5", so 5'6" if I got like some good boots on or something, but I prefer a shorter rod than a longer run. I got all sorts. The longer ones are beneficial for if you're going a more lighter weight. You get a little bit more action to it, you can feel more. But going from something like a spinning or a bait caster, I think the entry-level ones are the way to go. They're a lot closer in feel and use, and you know, just overall, they're a lot closer to a light spinning rod for the type of action you get. And again, I don't think it matters which brand you go with at all. I think all of their offerings are going to be, you know, bang for buck. They're trying to get you. It's their entry level into what they offer, right? So, lost a few fibers there. It's their entry level that they're trying to get you into not only into the sport, but also into their branding, right? Like, my first rod was a really cheap Fenwick. Everything was plastic. There was no metal on that rod. Even the guides. I think it might have had one metal guide at the very end, like the very last guide. But the reel was completely plastic. The drag was plastic. Everything was plastic. And I've had higher end Fenwicks after that. And because that was my first rod, like, I have a affinity for Fenwick rods. I just like them because that's what I learned on. And a lot of people are the same way. So typically you'll find that, not always, but typically, they know this, right? They're trying to get you into their brand. They're trying to have a good showing with what they can offer for that price range. So in my opinion, although they are the bottom of the rung, you typically get a little bit more for your money. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, and like there's many other, I have some rods, there's another type of rod called a, oh, I'm gonna butcher the word because it just left my brain now, Takara rod. And it only has one eye on the very end, so it's basically just a long pole with one eye on the end. And you can cast with that. You hold your line in your hand, there's got a spot on there, you can wrap the line up, there's no reel. And you use that almost like a mooching rod, but you can cast that out, and it's morely meant for bank fishing, creek fishing, that kind of thing. But some of my Takara rods are like, I think my longest one is 26 feet. Like, they're ridiculous. And they're collapsible. They have to be, because you'd never be able to take it anywhere if it was 26 feet long. I have an 18-foot and a 20-foot Takara rod that I use quite commonly. And I like that size the best. The ones over 20 feet are a little bit ridiculous. But I've seen people use those, my point being, I've seen people use those rods for jigging and mooching off docks. Even though traditionally it is not really meant for that, but at the end of the day, it's just a pole that you're attaching your line to so you can try and get it out to where the fish are. So whatever that looks like for you, that is the correct way to do it. But yeah, I'd start off, like I said, with the youth rod. Now that I got the name of that one in the chat there, I can check out Cabela's later and I'll have a look at the actual model and all that. See if there's anything I see about it that I think might be a little off, but again, most of those offerings are there to give you a good dollar for value. Yeah, like a cane pole. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just Japanese called it Takara. But lots of other cultures had the exact same setup, different names, different ways of using it. But basically, yeah, long pole with a spot in the top for the line to go, and you toss her out there. And that's still fly fishing. It's still a fly rod. But I think Takara rods go back like 2000 BC, somewhere in there. We're just going to spin this a bit here, guys, so we can let that head cement dry evenly. But quite happy with that one. Wings nice up front. Tail's nice and straight. Hackle turned out lovely. Yeah, I mean, 49 bucks. I mean, you can't go wrong. Does it come with a reel and that for that price? A three piece. Three pieces are. They're a different animal, unfortunately. I want to love a 3-piece. I own quite a number of them. I even own some 4- and 5-piece ones. But every section you get makes it stiffer, right? So, because you got overlap where it comes together. So it would really depend on a 5-weight. You'd probably be okay because that's going to be fairly flexible. If you're doing like a 3-piece 8-weight at a beginner level, yeah, you know, you might be getting a little stiff there. But again, at $49, I mean, it's hard to find a reel of that price. So if you're getting the whole setup, again, this is going to be, for the most part, again, generally speaking, the best bang for your buck for a whole setup, right? And it's something that if you dropped it off a dock, or you stepped on it, or you swung too hard when you got hooked on a tree, you know, you bent an eye, you're not going to cry over it. It's like the cost of McDonald's for the family, you know, or less. So yeah, I'd say go for it. And then, like, worst case scenario, you could always throw it up on Facebook Marketplace or something for almost what you paid for it, right? So really nothing lost there. As an aside too, actually, I have a number of youth style entry-level rods, and they make excellent trolling rods. Like, if you like, I like to just troll a fly while I'm canoeing, so I can just concentrate on the canoeing and just drag a sinking line with a nymph on or something. And they're excellent for that, absolutely excellent, because you don't want a super long rod, and you want something stiffer because you're just dragging it behind super slow as you're paddling around. And their choice for that. I mean, if you got access to a boat or canoe or kayak, It can always be turn into a trolling rod for you later when you upgrade. The weight of the rods are roughly kind of built around the size of fish that you're going after. Just like you'd have a light, ultralight, medium action rod, kind of the same idea, just to make it not complicated for you. So an 8-weight rod, you're going to be using that for a lot of 2 to 5 pounds, I'd say. Like a good size fish for like an 8-weight. I find 8-weights and 7-weights are easier to learn to cast on because they're a little bit more robust, especially if you're coming from a spinning background, than say a 5-weight. 5-weights are, that's sweet spot for like small trout, small bass, crappie, that kind of stuff. 4s aren't as common. I wouldn't suggest going with a 4 or 3 because you just don't see lines and stuff for them as often. They're there, but you'll pay for them typically. Yeah, like bluegill. Like it's a nice. It's like it's not quite an ultralight when you get down 5. That's more like a lightweight. Spinning rod would be the equivalent. So like you can get a lot done with a lightweight spinning rod. Yeah, you can land some good-sized medium fish. You just got to be a little more careful with them. In the same token, you don't want necessarily a heavy action or a medium action spinning rod and pulling in little bluegills or something. You're gonna, it loses a little bit of the fun out of it, right? Because you're almost like winching them in at that point. I got 2 small little pieces of this left. Gonna try and use up. Well, actually, just 1. Okay, so next we're gonna go back to the tail. I need to get I think I need a new piece here because we don't got a lot left. Yeah, that's probably not enough. I'm gonna save the rachis on that because it's got a cool coloring that we talked about earlier. Yeah, bluegill are fun. I always enjoyed the scrappy little fish. Doesn't have to be a big fish to be enjoyable, right? Okay, so we're going to take off about a gap length there. Just going to straighten these a bit. Just pop it off. We have one lake here that has sunfish in it, and only because someone brought some up and dumped them off. But they would be classed as an invasive species up here. And that one's about maybe a good hour and a half away from me, so I haven't had a chance to fish for them. But apparently there's quite a few of them in that lake. I'm assuming someone brought some up as bait. Or left them in their live well and didn't notice until they got across the border or whatever, or wherever they came from. And unfortunately dumped them in the lake and they started breeding. They're cool little fish though, I have to admit. Pretty little things. Apparently they school well, so I'm assuming once you find a school of them that it's just going to be a fun time. Alright. We're just going to tie those tagged ends in. I've already cut the rachis fluff off, so we're just going to make a nice even body up. Right there, tie-in point, and we'll get back to that gray mallard here. So this would be not quite on the breast of the bird, but this is going to be a little bit on the flank, kind of where their floating ribs would be. And I'll start to get the color on them. But you can use whatever you got for mallard. Doesn't have to be this specific shade. I just think it's a beautiful contrast with the grizzly hackle. Again, I'm just going to be pulling that out so I can get those tips to be relatively even. That's pretty decent. Just a hair off, but see if I can straighten it just a little more. There we go. Okay, we're just going to trap those and just pop them off. They spawn every month? That's nuts. I'm used to like all the fish around here only spawning in the fall pretty much. You may get some trout, you know, going twice, but no wonder they spread in that lake so often then. 'Cause nothing's gonna be, they're not gonna even have any predators really, I mean, that are gonna take them down at that level. I had no idea. That's cool. Thanks for that. That would make perfect sense why they took over so bad. Yeah, not that they wouldn't have any predators, it's just after the normal predators leave, like the ospreys and bear and everything, and they're all getting ready to hibernate or migrate, and they're just gonna be in there all year. Okay, so we just got that wing ahead, twice our tie-in point to the front. Looks good for my side. Let's check yours. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, I buggered my tail up. Let's straighten that out. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Mart. Appreciate it. Always good to have another. I wonder if you're my 700th yet or not. I was like just floating around 700 the end of the last stream there. Kind of wish I didn't bump the tail because I kinked that one fiber and I do want to keep them in there. And it's going to settle down. I can use some steam if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to worry about it that much. Okay, so we're going to tie down the tag ends there, and just after it, one thread length, we're going to tie in our rib here. I'm going to try and get this last bit to work for me. I think I'll have enough to get this last fly done with it. I don't want to waste it, so. I could tie it back a bit, but I'm going to stick to my original pattern. I think we'll have enough there. And we'll tie that same material in for a body again. And I'm sorry, Victoria, this is poly yarn, not wool this time. This is a vintage 70s Stardust poly yarn used for rug making. It's extremely durable. It has a really cool kind of fluorescence to it. I don't know what they used back then for it, but the brand name was Stardust. Oh, still 692. Okay, that's fine. We'll get there. I'm in no rush. Been doing this a while. I'm very thankful, to be honest, that I'm not way up there. For the most part, I know and recognize like every subscriber that I've had come through, and I like that. I like to be able to, you know, actually have a community that I can be part of and grow with and talk to, and not like I'm keeping score or keeping track, but you know, it's just nice knowing like I get to go check their channel out after and see what they're up to, and you know, if they're get busy in the community tab, we can keep up with things together. And I think like personally, that's far more important to me than, you know, having 7,000 subs or 50,000 subs or whatever the number is. I think really everything after 1,000 just don't matter. I'd rather not get to that point where I can't keep track of my community. That's never the intention. Okay, so we're gonna go under and then over. Did I tie that off? Yes, it. Yeah, we're actually gonna throw this in the bobbin holder. Okay, so we're gonna go under with fair pressure. As we go over, I'm gonna lighten it up and I'm gonna flatten this out just a bit with my fingernail. That'll help, not completely cure, but that'll help the little thread bump that you get there from tying in the tail material. Okay, I'll bring that all the way up here, just before the wing. Get my bobbin up a little more than that. Okay, I'm going to bring the thread just in front of the wing here and then under. And we're going to get 2 or 3 wraps behind the wing. That'll help build our base for the hackle tying. And around the body material. Come on, wing, behave yourself. Come on. It's that one fiber that just seems to be magnetically attracted, maybe statically attracted to my thread there. And 2 to lock it off. We'll call that good cutter. There be. Alright, now moment of truth, we'll let my bobbin spin out while we do the wrapping. I'm going to need to do, just going to untwist here, I'll need to do 5 to 7 wraps right here. And that's not doing anything at all because it's going to all unwrap as I wind this. I'm going to go underneath so it doesn't bug the tail. Just on top of that flat spot. It doesn't creep back. And then just nice even wraps all the way along. It is highly, highly important that you get between 5 and 7 wraps. Since fish can count, they will definitely not take your hook if you have less than that. Or more. They'll just outright refuse it. So don't let that happen to you. 5 to 7. Also, we'll keep the tying purists off your back. And the hackle, please. Alright, there we go. I got a little tiny stub of this gold yarn I can use for a blue charm or something like that later for some salmon fly. So I'll save that. Okay, now we just got to tie in a hackle from our saddle and we're good to go. There's our saddle. This one will do. Just get rid of the fluff. Yeah, it's not just good, it's good enough. That's what we're shooting for. Do not beat yourself up over the small things. Bring this back up to our tying point. When I'm tying this into, I'm holding the hackle about 45 degrees opposite of where I want it to be tied in, because as I'm tying it in, I was a little too close to the wing. As I'm tying it in, the thread wraps are going to twist it in that clockwise direction. And if you start off flat, then you won't end up flat. The more you know. I also like to bend the hackle about 90 degrees to the hook before I start too. Helps to just prepare the rachis. Gives you a little bit better start. And these are old, so like that, just 90 degrees, and it should be good to go. Okay. That was on me. I might have grabbed the wrong hackle plier here. 1 second. No, I think that's the right one. One of my old ones is a little slick, and after thousands of flies, it's not holding as well as it used to. So I need to get some sandpaper and kind of rough up the surface a little. So we got 1 wrap, 2 wraps. I think I'm going to get 3 in on this one. 2 to 3 on the back, and 3 to 4 in the front. A little close to the wing there, but I think we can do it. Okay, I'm just going to hold the wing forward. We'll get that wrap just right against the wing there. And the other ones will go in the just before the head, thorax area. There we go. Okay, if I trapped it right, then this should have no, see, it's perfectly floppy, even though I haven't even gone around the hook yet. It's always good to check that. Sometimes your eyes play tricks on you. And then 2 wraps around the eye will lock it in for me. We'll do one more. This time I'm going to pull those back, just because there's a few of them that are misbehaving. Get 3 wraps. We'll fix that after. Okay, now we're good for some half hitches, and then cut that off. These half hitches will help to set the hackle back a bit too, so it's going to behave itself. But this bunch ain't too terrible whatsoever. I'll do one more. There. Duckaholic Gamer. That is a cool name, man. I like that. Hopefully you stick around, man. That's an awesome name. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Now let's cut off the waist end. Yeah, good to have you, mate. Always good to have a new friend pop in. Hopefully you can just relax and enjoy some fly tying, some good tunes. Just chill. That's what we're all about. No judgments. Let's get the whip finish going here. A4. Call that good. Now the whip finish, for all intents and purposes, is the exact same knot I was doing with the half hitch. It's just one after the other. It's just a continuous half hitch. You can do it with your fingers. You don't need the tool. You can do it with one finger if you practice. I just find, especially with hackle, the tool gives me that little bit of extra feel and pull to keep the line away. Or thread in this case. Okay, Duckaholic Gamer, I have a joke for you. What do you call, or why do ducks have long tail feathers? Why do ducks have long tail feathers? I'll give you a moment to come up with an answer while I get this head cement in place. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Chevy Builds. I'm gonna check your channel out. I like old trucks. Hopefully that's what you got. My father's rebuilding a 49 Willys Jeep right now. And we've been kind of tinkering on it since I was a kid. But I did a lot of work on old flat side Chevys. Okay, so why do ducks have long tail feathers? To hide their butt quacks. Ha ha ha. My daughter came home with that joke one day, and I was thrilled. I loved it. I absolutely love that you gave me a scientific answer for that joke. Way to go. But yes, please share that joke. Use it with other people. I quite enjoy it. It's a nice, good, clean, fun joke. And that's totally why they have long tails, to hide their butt quacks. It's all good. Hopefully we'll see you in the next stream. Well guys, I got 15 minutes till my work start time, so this is a perfect time for me to cut her out here and get to work. I got computers and printers to fix. Unfortunately not as thrilling as tying up some vintage flies. But needs must, bills pay. And I do enjoy my tech work as well. Thanks for hanging out, Victoria. Good to meet you, Mr. Duckaholic. My son is an absolute duckaholic, so I will check your channel out and give it to him to peruse. Birds are his thing. He just loves birds. My oldest, anyway. He could probably chat up a storm with you. Okay, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day. See you in the next one. Thanks again, Victoria, for all your help today. Appreciate it. You have yourself a good